Online, everything looks real. Deals, messages, even people. But not everything is true. Here, we help you check before you click and think before you trust. So next time something feels urgent, remember the question, is this real?
Hello and welcome to episode 2 on Is This Real? In our first episode, I shared a story about how one small moment inside a game turned into something much bigger. Today, I want to continue that conversation, but this time from inside the game. And for those who might not have had a chance to watch the first episode, the story I'm referring to is about a moment when a child was playing a game and someone joined that game and requested a special code or something that we call a master key to be shared with them. This was a verification code which the child obtained from their parents' phone and gave to the person who had joined the game. What happened after that code was shared is way bigger, and again a story that we'll touch on in terms of what happens sometimes when bad people or cyber criminals get codes that they are not supposed to get. So today I'm joined by someone special. Her name is Daisy. Hi Daisy, are you ready?
I am ready.
Fantastic. So Daisy, I'm going to ask you a few questions about games,
Alright.
and I would like to hear your perspective on a number of questions. So feel welcome, feel free to share so that our listeners can also benefit from your advice or your suggestions or your perspective. The first question is, when you are playing a game online, can you describe what it actually feels like to you?
So when you're playing a game, let's say I'm just playing a obby or just a game where you have to win, where it feels so urgent to win. It's like you're in a running game and you just want to get to the finish line. So that's how it feels like, and it's a really good feeling. And you're like, okay, I just need to take this. I need to find the fastest way to get in the lobby. Oh, yeah.
That's very interesting. I like the point you mentioned about winning. I think that's something almost everyone wants to do in life, and I can imagine as well in the world of gaming. So my next question to you then is, do you think about safety when you are playing?
Well, of course, yes. But sometimes I know I've felt this before where you feel like, well, does it really matter right now? I'm still in the game, and you just wanna skip the thought of safety.
That's actually very important what you shared there. And I say that because I think a lot of parents imagine children constantly thinking about risk, but you are not. You are just playing, right? Because you are in the moment, and especially the point you mentioned that, you're thinking about winning, and, I understand that things can actually get intense when playing. So that actually takes me to the next question, which is really anchored around trust when playing games, right? So the question is, when someone joins your game, let's say a stranger joins in or is in the lobby of the game that you're playing, and the person sounds really friendly, how do you decide if they are okay to play with or not?
Well, obviously, I think of the things they're asking me. Like if they're asking me about my phone number, in which some cases people are just saying, oh, you're a really good player and stuff, which I do like the commentary, which is very common in games that, well, sometimes uncommon in games that are competitive. So I do think about those things, but mostly it's about commentary and stuff.
Very interesting and important point as well, the commentary. And so if someone sounds, let's say, very confident and they know the game, does that make them feel trustworthy to you?
Well, in some cases, it's hard to actually know if someone is trustworthy because, number one, in the real world, there are some people that actually have a good, kind heart, right? But there are also some people that just pretend to be someone just so they can get something. So in this case, mostly, even if they sound really like confident. I also try and think of how they're trying to rush me and things like that. But I also do think about like, okay, is this person nice? Are they just acting for things they want out of me, or do they actually want to give me a good experience?
That makes a lot of sense, and I totally agree with you. I think it applies to children the way you have explained, and also applies even to adults, right? In terms of how trust is built. Sometimes it's confidence, sometimes it's nice, that can be interpreted differently, by everyone. So I totally understand what you mean, and that's not silly at all. In fact, I think that's actually very human, to actually approach situations the way you have said there. I like the point you mentioned about if someone is, showing a sense of urgency, or they're giving a bit of pressure. Have you ever felt like you had to do something quickly in a game? Like someone saying, do it now or you miss out, kind of?
Yes, that has happened in lots of games I've played. And I'll give you one example. I know for sure there's
I love the examples, by the way.
I know there's a very popular game called Roblox that's played by millions and millions of people. And there are like thousands of people in that game. And I've had it. I've played the game once. But there are some games that way they say, okay, to earn more Roblox money, which is called Robux, you need to pay this much money if you want to succeed. Which always, some kids just feel like, oh, I just want to do this, but that's it, parents are busy. You don't have time to ask the parents, of which sometimes parents are just like, no. So then they just go, okay, I'm just going to click this real fast. I'm sure it won't hurt anyone. So then that is what happens sometimes. I do feel like that. But even though you also do have to think of safety and like, okay, my parents have earned this money. Do I really want to spend it all on a game that might actually be a scam and not worth it actually says? So you do have to think about that. But yes, it is very tempting to go, especially with ads and stuff like that. It's very tempting.
Yes, that's a fantastic point you mentioned there. And I'm actually learning a lot, through this conversation. So thank you. I was going to say, I think that feeling that you're describing, or that rush, is actually the same feeling that scammers use with adults, or when they are targeting adults as well. The way it actually comes across in most cases is it doesn't feel scary.
It's nothing wrong.
Yeah, exactly. It feels like there's nothing wrong at all, but you can see or feel that agency, like, do it now. If you don't, you're going to miss out on a big opportunity, right? So thank you for sharing that. Now I'm going to move on our conversation to something that I think a lot of parents would want to know coming from their children, right? Especially about what children wish parents understood, especially about games. I would like to hear from you, or what you've heard from your friends. What is the one thing children don't like about how parents talk about games, or how they approach discussions about games for children?
Well, I have heard, I know for sure that some kids, they're just like, oh, my parents will never allow me to get this, when they don't even let their parents look, which is still a bit unfair to the parents, but I get it, because they might as well have tried in the past, right? So sometimes some kids just don't realize what their parents are trying to protect them from. They just think their parents are being dramatic and not actually looking. And they think their parents are going, oh, no. They just don't want the game to be downloaded. They're just no fun, which may seem true, but may actually have a bigger meaning.
Yeah. That's really funny, and it makes a lot of sense again. So do you think parents understand, or in most cases, do you think parents understand what gaming actually feels like?
Well, most parents should maybe not understand, depends. But sometimes if a parent really has known from an experience about games, they may just hold a grudge and say, actually, I don't think so. I don't trust this game. It seems similar to this game and that stuff. So I don't know, but maybe some parents may do that. I don't really think a lot of parents, I don't think it's very common for parents to know a lot about gaming, especially sometimes if it's not their job, right? They have other work and stuff to focus on. So it's a maybe on that question, because you can't say, oh, grown-ups don't know nothing about games. It's just that some parents have other bigger things to focus on, like school bills and water and stuff like that.
Wow, that's really powerful, and you touch on a very good point. I think for most parents, they will be busy juggling their day jobs or working so hard to earn money and earn income, and also doing other things that needed for the family, right? Yeah, the parenting bit. And in most cases, by the time they finish their work and everything that they need to do as part of parenting, probably they're tired or they're exhausted. They have no time to actually pay attention or understand what's actually involved in a game. So in most cases, I think they will see a device, right? They'll just see there's an iPad or my child is on an iPad. So they actually don't know the feeling or the experience. And for children, they actually feel the experience because they get to play the games. So there is a gap between, what a parent may see or parent or guardian may see and what a child may feel or experience as part of gaming. So that gap matters, and I think I see that as well as an opportunity for parents and children to have discussions where a child will, share what they actually feel when they're playing a game.
No, they may actually enjoy the experience of games and stuff.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. Is there anything you want to share as well, particularly around what children experience in the games that parents do not know, or any word of advice you would give to parents? What advice would you give to parents?
Well, I'll definitely say that parents, you should always check first, because if you just assume that the game is not going to be safe, then sometimes it can actually hurt the kids. So you can lock the game, or you can set up time limits.
Yes, thank you for sharing. And that point around understanding actually what the game is about, taking time to actually understand. And I think what also helps, and I learned this, doing that with you, is having a discussion to understand why you like the game. Yeah, so in that case, or in most cases, they can also ask questions, especially to those that know how to do it, or even just researching about those games before just assuming they're bad, and just being free with their kids, right? All right. Yes, I'm going to turn on to a very interesting side of the conversation where I will invite you to ask me some questions, maybe 2 questions that you would like to understand from a parent's perspective, right? Maybe it could be a burning question that you have in terms of why do parents worry so much about safety, and why do they delete games, or why do they take these things away, etc. So I would like to invite you to ask me 2 questions, and then I can also share. Hopefully I'll be able to answer your questions. So you can ask me 2 questions.
Okay. Question number 1. So if you would say, let's say, as you're a parent, right? What would be your advice to other parents about researching? Like, for researching, let's say if I want a new game and apparently it's very popular, what would be your advice, as in maybe not researching, as in conversations with your kids? Like, where did you hear the game from? Is there any reason why you're burning to know about it? Is there any special thing? And then just talk about it in whatever way. So what's your advice to parents about that?
Very good question. I think for most parents, the moment they hear about a game, right? Especially if it's something that they've never done when they were growing up, they always think about what can go wrong, right? And in most cases, it's because they cannot see what's happening in that game or in the screen every second. So the first thing they think about is always what can go wrong. Now, in terms of advice on how to approach understanding why the child wants that game, it goes back to having a discussion. So the first thing is always, having a discussion, understand why the child is actually asking for that game, where they have heard about that game from. If it's from their friends, it's also a sign that maybe some of the peers or the child's friends are also playing that game. So by having a discussion, they can actually give the child some homework to ask their friends on, what's working well, what's not working well in that game. And also the parent, what I think is actually best for parents in most cases is when they're actually downloading a game, they can see also reviews that are provided by other parents, right? So they understand what's good, what's not good, etc., based on some of the reviews that have been provided. There are also a lot of free resources that are available, especially, let's say, for parents in Australia. I think through the eSafety, you told me.
eSafety Commissioner.
Exactly, right. So there are a lot of free resources that are available that can actually provide, parents knowledge for specific games, and also, some of the requirements, or, what age those games, like what children's age they are suitable for. So things like those, really doing a research and looking up on trusted sources to see what's recommended, what works, what doesn't work. But the most important advice I would give here is, as part of that research, make sure your child is also across and being open-minded, in a way that if the parent sees something that is very risky or that seems a bit dangerous for the child, being transparent about it and taking time to actually communicate it in a way that the child will also understand and see it from their point of view as well, in terms of what could go wrong and how it will affect them. I think that's really important, and that stops the parent just saying, no, you are not getting this game because it's dangerous, it's not safe for you. It shifts the conversation to, because of this and this and this game is not good for you. I trust you as my child, but because of these things that you cannot control, the game is not good for you. So that would be the advice I would say: having discussions with the child and being transparent, researching from trusted sources, and also, in the community, asking other parents as well what their experience is, especially for their children.
Yeah, and that's a good point you made by not just saying, no, you can't have it because you can't have it, it's just not safe. And then the kids are like, why? That's a good point you made there. It's also important just to take time, because also for some kids, they might just be like, okay, my parents are not being fair, I'm going to download it myself. And then that's when the risk comes. So what's best is you just talk to your kids so they understand, they feel happy, or even just get them a replacement game. That makes them feel like, okay, I didn't get exactly what I want, but I got something I wanted. It's like giving them a reward for listening, instead of just being so straightforward and saying, oh, no, you can't have this because it's not safe for you. And then they'll just get mad and go like, my parents never let me get anything, I'm going to download it myself. Thinking that you just didn't want it. They just didn't want it because they were being grumpy. It's actually for a reason. So it's great for the parents to raise awareness to their kids as well.
Absolutely. Very good points. What would be the question number 2 you'd like to ask me before we end the conversation today?
So question number 2 is, let's say your child is enjoying a game and then they tell you about it, right? And then you realize the game isn't as safe as they explained it to be. And you knew that the kid was very enjoying it. What would you do? What's your approach to that situation?
Wow. That's a very tricky question, and I love it. Look, I think if the child actually starts playing the game and it comes across as not safe as they thought or what they said before, or even any research that I would have done as a parent, if the game is a bit more dangerous,
Then you
if the child actually comes to me to explain, I think that's actually a very good starting point. It already shows that there is trust between the child and the parent, that the child can actually be open and share with their parent what they are seeing in the game, right? So in that scenario or setup, instead of being reactive and say, oh, let's delete the game or let's remove the game, I think that's where it's important for me as a parent or for any parent to actually sit down with the child and ask them questions. Like, when you see 1, 2, 3, 4 as part of your game, how do you feel? And also just have that discussion around the experience that they are getting from that game, right? And I think that will help determine what the parent can do, whether it's researching more about if there are specific security features or safety features that they may have missed to turn on or to set up when they installed the game or downloaded the game. That will be a good opportunity to actually do that. When they hear that the game is not safe, instead of just deleting and then the child feels like I'm stopping enjoying or I'm not going to enjoy the game I was playing, they can also research about what safety features are there to actually remove this thing that feels unsafe. Let's say there's a chat bot or chat box that allows strangers or random people to just communicate with your child. If you actually understand about that safety feature to turn it off and only allow it with trusted friends, that actually can remove what looks like something that's very risky or something that's not safe for your child. So I think that conversation, especially when it comes from a child, and being transparent that, I'm playing this game, I know I told you it's safe, but I'm seeing this and I'm concerned about this, it's actually a very strong foundation. It's instead of the child being secretive and playing and sneaking around, when they actually open up, the parent has to be very calm and they have to engage in a discussion and find out and work with the child. I'll emphasize this: work with the child to actually ensure there's certain features that are enabled, or actually talk about what could go wrong, etc., and make sure that the child understands how it will affect them as a child as well. So that's one thing that I also do in my professional work, right? I don't just say this is wrong, this is bad for you. It has to be, why is it bad for me? What could go wrong? So explaining the same to a child, I find it very, very helpful, so that the child can actually get that understanding. And what it will do, it will give them that opportunity to, actually be aware and to be educated in that space, and they can apply it on different things.
Yeah, that's a good point you made about the children, the kids, when the parents open up. Because especially, I know this is true, if once you realize, okay, my parents don't let me do anything, they're just not fun, that increases their anger. You don't want to listen to your parents, and then you just start doing things that you just start doing things by yourself. Especially, let's say if the parents are busy, they don't normally check up on the kids' tablet device a lot. It stops the trust from a child, which can be really dangerous, especially when it comes to online devices. Even just spending too much time on the tablet or something, playing games that you're not supposed to, can actually be really harmful and really dangerous. So it's good to start trust and bond with your kids. Especially, it's weird saying this as a kid, but it's good. I think, that would be a good opportunity just to stop things from happening. Bad. So.
And then I actually like that this advice is coming from a kid, right? And I think even parents or guardians, sometimes they need that reminder, about the importance of creating a safe safe space to have that discussion and being transparent, especially if we are
and not being afraid as well. The kids can get afraid or be like, if I tell my parents,
etc. The goal is not fear, right? it's about building or creating a space where a child can share why they like the game, why they're interested, why the experience is great, and the parent can also share if there are any risks and also work with the child to avoid those risks or to mitigate those risks, and ensure that there is safety. So to remove fear, I think what actually has to come in is discussion, transparent, right? And the confidence and trust from the child to the parent or guardian, and the parent or guardian to the child. I think games are fun, and I also think that there are risks, or there are safety risks in some cases as well. But at the end of the day, I think what really matters is how the parent and the child come together and discuss. So hopefully this is something that will help parents to learn what children's experience in games is, and what parents' concerns about some games are, and then bring that much needed discussion.
Well, children, if you're listening to this, just remember everything your parents do is for a reason. And don't get angry with your parents and just think your parents are being boring. Trust me, I've felt that before, but you also have to learn to control it. And just maybe talk to your parents, tell them how you feel. I'm sure if they'll open up and talk more if you ask them. But yeah, just don't get too mad at your parents, because everything they do is for a reason. And they truly love you, so don't do those things.
That's very good advice, Days. Thank you so much for coming and joining me on this discussion, and for sharing, such powerful advice. In closing, I would like also to, encourage parents, to encourage children. If you are a child, that's where you can also take the opportunity to ask your parents to verify something, before you approve or before you accept any offers from strangers in the games, especially
Gift codes.
To get codes, exactly.
Stand up, tell your parents, do all those safe things. And also, my last words to say, remember to share this to your friends and family. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe. We need you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Days. This was a fantastic conversation, and looking forward to having more conversations with you on Is This Real? Have a wonderful day.
Bye.
Bye.